Bob Arum says Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson is too risky and has too high of a guarantee. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, so Bob Arum, the top-ranked boss, recently gave an interview and he spoke about the possibility of Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis actually getting it on. He said it's not a situation of the promotional companies not being able to make the fight. It's a situation of the fight being too risky and having too high of a guarantee. I wanted to break that down, give my 2 cents, and let everybody know how I felt and see what the community has to say about what Bob Arum had to say. So, Bob Arum basically said that it's not a situation of the promotional companies not getting along or, him not wanting to work with Haymon to make the fight, or even perhaps taking a smaller percentage so the fight gets made. He feels like it's Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson that are the reason the fight's not going to be made. And basically, both those guys, according to him, want a high guarantee to make the fight. He was saying that Vasily Lomachenko and Devin Haney agreed to take a certain percentage up front and agreed to a certain percentage on the back end to actually make the fight. Basically, they're going to get a higher percentage of the pay-per-views and get a decent upfront guarantee amount to make the fight. But Bob Arum was saying that Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson, they basically, I guess, already have a set number in mind that they want to make the fight. And he feels like it's just way too high for him or Haymon to actually agree with it. But he said if those guys were to go with the model that Vasily Lomachenko and Devin Haney have agreed to, he feels like that they could actually make the fight. Now, my question is, why is he not trying to make the fight with Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis? Why is he pushing Shakur Stevenson? Because I feel like he definitely would make a lot more money putting Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney together. I think it would generate a lot more money. I do feel like if he's already having a problem with Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis agreeing on a dollar amount or an upfront guaranteed amount, that would be a bigger problem with Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis, because Devin Haney's going to always want the bigger half since he's the champion. And Gervonta Davis being so popular, he's going to want the bigger half as well. So you're going to have a serious argument to be made. But to me, I don't understand why it is that he could make the Shakur Stevenson fight if they agreed to those terms, but he can't make the Devin Haney fight. I just don't get that part. But
the thing that I embedded in my mind was that when I got out of that shower, out of any game that I played, I could look in the mirror and feel good about myself. I always felt good after every game because I knew I played harder than everybody out there.
My thing is this: if there's a set dollar amount, I don't understand why, he wouldn't just go ahead and pay Gervonta Davis up front and then, the bigger amount up front and then give Shakur Stevenson whatever he wants, because Shakur already came out in an interview and said he would pretty much be the B-side in the fight. He's agreeing to be the B-side because he knows that he doesn't draw as big as Gervonta Davis does, and he doesn't have, the resume that Davis does at 135. So, I agree with Bob Arum in a way that I'm sure that there's a guarantee in there that it's kind of high, but is it really Shakur Stevenson asking for a high guarantee, or is it that he just doesn't want to pay Shakur Stevenson a guarantee because the fight is so risky? Now, he also mentioned that it's a risky fight, and he feels like if the fight doesn't do well and they pay, either Gervonta a upfront guarantee of such and such amount, and they still have to pay him on the back end, and they pay Shakur such and such amount on the front end, and they have to pay him on the back end as well, then they're going to lose a lot of money. Those were his exact words. Well, we're going to be in the rear if the fight doesn't do well. Now, do I think the fight wouldn't do well? I think Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis would do just as well as Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. I think Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney would do $1 million more than Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. I think that fight has the potential of being, because there's belts involved, even more popular than the Ryan Garcia fight. But as far as Shakur goes, I think Shakur has a decent enough name to where, if you put him in there with Gervonta, it's going to do well. If Ryan Garcia fight did well, we all know that Shakur Stevenson is a better fighter than Ryan Garcia, then of course that fight's going to do well. But to me, I think it's that Bob Arum doesn't want to risk it. He mentioned risk, and that there's a lot of risk involved in that fight. And I feel like he feels like if he puts Shakur in there and he gets beat and he has to pay him a guarantee, well, he's damaged goods at that point. Who do you face him up with at that point? He's just now entering the division, and if he takes another loss, then you can pretty much say people are going to be done tuning in for Shakur Stevenson because of the old generation. Now, I think the old generation, they'll tolerate one loss, but after you get past one loss, then they don't really want to deal with you anymore. And, Shakur Stevenson being so young, and Bob Arum, I think, seeing a lot of potential in him, in the future, especially when Devin Haney leaves the division, he doesn't want to risk it now. So I'm at the point now that I don't see Gervonta Davis getting a fight with Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney more than likely is going to lead the division after Vasily Lomachenko. And if he doesn't, he's going to be fighting Shakur Stevenson and then leaving the division. So more than likely, even if he fights Shakur and beats him, I think Shakur will most likely end up fighting for the titles versus Gervonta Davis at that point. But if he fought Shakur and Shakur beat Devin, then it's a win-win for Bob Arum anyway. So I just think that Bob Arum doesn't want to risk it. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. That like button for me. Share, subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tube. So holler at me over there. If you would like to collabo, feel free to hit my Gmail. It is flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are mad.
This the chairman of the board, swerving in the Ford. Game sharp like George Gervin with the sword. I ain't the one to ignore, I'm crushing the norm. Schoolgirls let me come in they dorm. When I come and perform, you get to see it live in person. Hot rhyme dispersing, rhyme detergent. Now that's a clean flow. Asian, the Latino, black folks, gringos. Niggas know Louis Keys is off the Figaro. State senator, freestyle emperor. Niggas on the block, low or high temperature. Hail or rain, spell my name. K-E-Y-Z, getting mail from game. Got a dime on the side, don't tell my dame. With an attitude like fuck your favorite MC unless it is me. Now listen close to what I say. Louisville niggas getting killed every day. Nigga trying to get a little money every way. From the streets to the stage, trying to get paid. They hear your boys spit some heat and they all fat. They see your boy on the streets and they all fat. Monster Squad on the beat, yeah they all fat. I know niggas that I'm off the blunt and then eat the roach like Fur Factor. I ain't a queer rapper on a John Deere tractor. I'm a real nigga. Let me say it again. I'm a real nigga, and I'm playing to win. Louis Keys finna kill him with the flow. Weed man, show me love, give him 64 or O. That's why I ride around cigarillas full of dro. Now you a real nigga, you a nigga that should know. But if a nigga don't know, now he does. If he wasn't talking shit, treat him like he was. See, I'm just a young nigga trying to get a buzz, either off a CD or a couple buzz. Yeah, them little dimes wanna fuck with us, cause we got a few drinks and a couple drugs. With an attitude like, fuck your favorite MC unless it is me. Lucas Keys, do what I say. Louisville niggas getting killed every day. Nigga trying to get a little money every way. From the streets to the stage, trying to get paid. They hear your boys spit some heat and they all fat. They see your boy on the streets and they all fat. Monster Squad on the beat, yeah, they all fat. I might chill with a freak, yeah, I'm no gangster. But I know players that'll run in your crib like Cosmo Kramer. But it ain't a sitcom, a nigga spit bombs. I hope you're coming for war, I'm coming with Nam. Viacom, even the realest niggas sang along. Even the baddest bitches bring them home with me. And here's a heads up, you can go and get the doctor. A straight shot, I hit your papa in his knickerbockers. A nigga South said it's rough out there. Lil' Dimes getting live for a puff out there. And this nigga still playing the tough role, just so they can get their face placed on their brush clothes. Is it really worth it? Niggas really nervous. I'm on top of my game and I'm